Hello, it's meow time for KittenousBeast gaming videos for cats and their people. KatzeLande Prime, episode 33. Well, last episode we kind of created a disaster situation. This volcano cooling project failed spectacularly, and now we have a high temperature problem. This is a powder keg that will explode unless we deal with it. So the plan right now is to very, very rapidly deal with this as quickly as possible. So my first step is to open these doors. And we're going to cancel that. If I open these doors, it will allow us to allow this heat to dissipate. So I am going to turn the permissions off. I'm just going to vent this out. This very, very hot gas will cool down hopefully fairly quickly. Unfortunately, you notice there the copper is still red hot. So it's extremely dangerous. If the tubes pick it up, they'll be burned. Not good. Um, but we do need to get in here and build, or rather rebuild, the system so it'll work. So with that in mind, we are going to try to get the steel retrofit in place on this loop. I am going to prioritize it highly and just hope for the best that we're going to be able to get in there and not worry about these liquid hot metals. Well, they're not liquid hot, but they're very, very hot just yet. Meanwhile, I'm going to flip this around real quick. Deconstruct that gas pipe. We're going to put in a gas vent over here. And what the plan is here is to empty out the gas that's in here so I can rebuild the loops. We will need more steel, so I'm going to go ahead and activate these systems again. In an effort to try and make a few more pieces of steel so that we can complete the project. We're just going by some ambient cooling right here, so this air is just heating up, or the heat from here is slowly passing out, which is good, but we are going to need. Oh no, did that pipe leak again? This is just too hot for steel, I guess. It's just going to keep making steam. I need to switch my input sources so that this doesn't happen. I don't understand where this water is coming from. Like, there's water going this way and... Like, where's that water coming from? It's... Oh, it's from here, I guess. Yeah, it's just causing a great big mess. So now I'm kind of jammed up because if I run out of steel to complete the project, it's not gonna work. gross. This is definitely not a good situation to be in. I'm thinking I have enough steel, but I'm not quite sure. So, you can kind of see the temperatures now drop to about 200. A lot of that heat just dissipating into the atmosphere over here. Super duper hot over there. So one way I can cool this water down really fast is by mixing it with this water. So if I put a tile here and drain a lot of this out, it should help with my immediate temperature needs. But that's not really the best solution for me in terms of this cooling situation. So, I'm definitely in trouble. I wish I had been more careful with these radiant gas pipes. And now I'm dealing with the consequences of that action. Yeah, as this continues to empty, it'll just break because the water is so hot it's immediately turning into steam. So every time they repair it, it's just going to release more hot water everywhere, and steam and so forth, until it eventually runs out of water that it needs to output. So they'll repair it again, it'll release more steam, or not. So let's try and do this upgrade on the pipes. Did it not? Just want to save this hydrogen if I can. It's going to be a pain to get it back. I will allow them through now. It's been a few... It's going to be hot. Somebody's going to probably get burned, but... A couple people probably going to get burned. Yep. Pretty dang hot over there, right fellas? Okay. So with that retrofit of steel on those pipes, I can lock this back up. Our fellas took some hits there. Poor dupes got some scalding. But with that retrofit complete, we can now just worry about doing the retrofit on this side of the loop. So, you know, we've got steel radiant gas pipe here. It's not gonna melt. Do I feel foolish for letting that happen, you know? I've drained this out so we can replace these with proper steel tubing. And I'll allow access into this chamber now. I'll, flip that bridge out. And I need to also provide some way of turning this pump on and off, because otherwise it's going to pick up steam. So I'm going to set up a cycle sensor for this pump, control it, while I'm back in here again. Alright, so we've now retrofitted it into steel, which is exactly what we needed. Oh, I gotta leave access open to it till they finish that wiring, automation wiring project. Oh. Okay, so while we're in there, let me just go ahead and change out these other pieces into steel as well. Yeah, it's a lot of our steel is going to be used up by that, but I think we want this to be a mechanism that actually works, then we're going to have to do it this way. I'm going to see this erupt again. So we got some really hot copper there. Look at all that super hot copper. Just sitting there being really, really hot. Alright, so hopefully we'll see them finish up these pieces. And then we'll be able to test the cooling on that copper down there. Alright, so the retrofit is complete across all of the cooling pieces that I wanted to set up. Okay, now we'll just go ahead and insert gas into the loop once more and hope for the best. Just trying to mop up whatever remaining water is from this accident over here. Alright, so we'll just put this ventilation pipe back in place, and we should see this hydrogen get pushed. Ooh, nobody's supposed to be going in there. Whoops. So, yeah, carrying around molten hot hydrogen, not good for you. So let's just go ahead. Let's see. Well, this will drop right into the lake. So I'll have. Yep. See that? There's 431 kilograms of really hot copper. Into the drink it goes. Still carrying that really hot copper. 890 something degrees now. Again, we're just going to drop it one more time into that pool. and hope that it cools down pretty dang. Yep, there it goes. It's cooling down quite rapidly. Still too hot for the dupes to handle, and they're going to keep trying to stupidly pick it up. So, we'll just let that cool down a little bit more. Alright, so let's take a look at our loop here. And the unfortunate thing is that by removing the copper from the site, which is what they did, they made it so that it... Did somebody come and pick it up? Shoot. Now I don't know where that really hot copper got off to. It's probably just sitting in here. 455 degrees hot. Woof! That's a little bit of a scorcher. Same with this aluminum here. Look at that. 127.6 degrees hot. Some hot stuff over here. So let's go ahead and make sure that that is fully charged. So that should charge up the loop completely and make it as efficient as possible. So we can see the decrease in temperature. The oxygen is getting cooled down to around 70 degrees. The heat is being pushed into this chamber here. So the heat's 70 degrees coming in, 40 degrees coming out. So this is cooling this little volcano down. The true test will be when, yeah, I don't mind if I do. True test will be when the volcano erupts with additional copper. That'll be the true test. Here we've got a plug slug. It's rather young, and we've got 6 in here and 8 in here. Let me get the oldest one. 16, 71. Just gonna do some. So 70. I think 71 was the oldest. So we'll eat this one, and that younger one will get put in its place. All right, so. I mean, things are getting cooled down here. It's still pretty hot. But the air, for instance, is getting cooled down bit by bit. So that's good. I'll allow access in and out, and we'll sweep up this junk before the next eruption, hopefully. Yeah, so it's actually not so bad now to go in there. It's interesting to see. So I'm excited to see what will happen after an eruption. If this same mechanic will allow me to get that temperature under control down there. We're going to be able to test it. And it's about to erupt and they're inside, so that's pretty lethal. I wonder if these stickers can melt. So there you see the heat from the hydrogen getting picked up, and I don't know if we have any steam forming here yet. I don't believe so. There's oxygen in there right now, but it may wind up pressurizing this. So that we can get steam to form more easily. But looking at that copper, its temperature is falling fairly steadily. Just trying to keep my eye on that copper there. If I can select it. So yeah, this is working. It's diminishing the temperature of the copper significantly. You know, again, we're going from 2,000 degrees and slowly going down from there. So I think we could be assisted a little bit with some if there was a better transmission of the heat, but not sure how I would accomplish that. With maybe a temp shift plate would maybe be a helpful upgrade for this situation. So I may put a temp shift plate in place to help with the temperature shift. But it does seem to be working fairly well. I'm just not getting the full heat. I'm only getting about a few degrees at a time being transmitted into here. So it's not as potent of an effect as I need it to be. So with that in mind, I may want to set up some temp shift plates in here. It'd be nice to use steel or diamond if I had any, but I don't have any diamond. So I do have copper though, right? Now let me just set this down here real quick. So it'll melt though. I can't do that. I was thinking I could just set up copper and no, it'll just melt. So I'll have to think this one through a little bit more. Almost got the vacuum in here. There we go. Vacuum has been established. So copper is slowly decreasing in temperature. So next steps, temperature shift plates. How am I going to do it? Can't make more steel. Steel would probably be great for that purpose. It's slightly working to cool off this metal, but not quite as good as it needs to be to work between the cycles of the eruptions. If I had gotten the temperature down more on these blocks of copper, and, I mean that's interesting, right? Because there's copper, it's 87.5 kilograms, and this one's 323 kilograms, but that one looks bigger, right? Physically, this one looks bigger than that one, right? But that one's going to be harder to cool down because it's more mass. So, am I cooling it down fast enough to where I could get duplicate accent? Yes. Am I cooling the copper down fast enough where it could actually be picked up without burning someone? No. So there's going to have to be some modifications to how this all works. Let me look at a sweeper. So these things overheat at 75 degrees. Not good. And if I get steel one would overheat at 575 degrees, which would be better, but look, this stuff's still too hot for the sweeper to pick up. So I got to do a better job of cooling this down. So I am going to go ahead and put in place some temperature shift plates. And I'm going to go with something that's thermally reactive. Highly thermally reactive. Maybe I could do some materials require little energy to raise in temperature, heat and cool quickly. Okay, so I could go with that one. So let's put this one down. Or I could go with this one, that's also thermally reactive. What else do we got? Aluminum would melt, copper would melt, copper would melt. That one's also thermally reactive. Let's check our choices here. So, low capacity, high conductivity, that's the obsidian one. Lower conductivity, that's mafic rock, same specific heat capacity. And then sedimentary rock has the same qualities, but will melt, versus obsidian won't melt. So the choice here in this case is going to be obsidian. I would love to use diamond or something to really accelerate the transformation, but I'm going to go ahead and put in a row of these plates in here, and we'll load it up. I'm going to stop. This copper is lowering in temperature slowly. I'm going to stop having copper be picked up so that we don't have that issue. And we'll open this up and set it to a high priority. And hopefully we'll get some better action on the temperature changes. I'm optimistic that the dupes will be able to finish this quickly. Oh no, they're getting jammed up by this dumb door. Oh, come on now. I know it's hot in there, guys. Just do your best. Nice. Nearly finished. Okay. So with that quick intervention, we now can take a look and see how this is going to affect things. So I'm hoping that we're seeing a change in the temperature, quicker changes if possible, but it may not quite work as I intend. This copper down here is ready to be picked up. And, right. Okay. So, let's solve some other problems while we wait for this to cool down. and take a look at the effect that it has. We are getting a cooling effect here, but not a potent enough cooling effect to really do what we needed to do. Now I am going to take a risk here real quick. Sweep up these. I gotta get these out of here before they combine with the next eruption. So they're so hot, they're gonna burn so bad. Fabulous. There's my 500-degree copper right here. Specter of heating is happening here. You see this? This heat. We're starting to see the danger of the heating of our base. So we're going to have to put in some cooling solutions. Now that we have the capacity to produce a steam turbine, we should be able to do that with ease. This is sort of a far-fetched. I don't know if this is ever going to make steam. This is sort of a dumb system at this point. I don't think this is enough mass. I'm not extracting enough heat out of it to get this to boil. I mean, it'll boil eventually, but you know, here's my copper. It's all right there. And the most that my hydrogen is able to pull off. Oh, now it's pulling off like 200 degrees. That's not bad. I mean, that might eventually make some steam. I mean, we're getting close. That copper is just not changing temperature the way that I need it to change. I need to get the copper down to at least 500 degrees so an auto sweeper can pick it up and then drop it into some water where it'll cool off. But yeah. Got a lot of hotness going on over here. And I wonder if this is just making a lot of heat. How much heat does this make? It's 9. It's 4.5. So this is double the heat production. The water is only up to 56 degrees. So we're looking at maybe 1,000 cycles before this boils. I'll have to think about how to modify this to actually do something effective. The challenge is this is so hot it'll boil any of the liquids I have access to. So I'm stuck. I have to use like an air cooling system, but I'm not concentrating the heat from the air cooling system very well. So tweaks need to be made. That's all that needs to be said about that. Okay, well, even with the steel, this doesn't seem to be super effective. It's working, like, I'd say in an unsatisfactory way it's working. Uh, but at least we're able to condense the metal and dissipate the ambient temperature adequately so that the metal is accessible. That's what I'm going to say is the conclusion from this experiment. So even though I feel like it's a little bit of a failure, at least we're able to dissipate the heat from the eruption and get access to the metal, even if it's the duplicates just picking it up themselves, and we can cool that metal off in some other fashion eventually. Um, okay, well, I am going to cut this one short. I'm a little bit discouraged by the poor effect that we've seen. And I'm a little discouraged that we are not planting water weeds here. So I'm going to go down one tile and see if that fixes the issue. And then we'll call it quits. So notice, right, I was always a little bit anxious about the distances here to here. And it didn't affect this last one, but they have not made an effort to plant that first waterweed. And it's either because the seeds are too far away or what. So I'm going to build a mesh tile in the middle and we'll move the seeds over, see if that's the issue. But after that, we're going to dig down one tile and see if they plant the plant. Oh my gosh, they're moving them all. Great. See if they plant it now, if it's close enough. That one's gonna die. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is great. So I don't have to worry about the heights. This is gonna be a slam dunk. Okay. The seeds were just a little too far away for them to do their planting. Fine. We can have them start planting away, and we'll finish this waterweed farm, or water leaf, or whatever it's called, very, very soon. Maybe that's how I'll finish this episode off. Just watching this waterweed farm get planted by my very faithful and friendly pips. So eventually, what we'll see here is we'll see a completely full waterweed farm. was going to put a ranch in here. Now made it into a ranch. And we'll eventually be able to coax these guys into producing some eggs for us, I hope. Little guys, plant my seed here. Here it comes. Yeah, these pips are like favorite thing. Alright, so with me having enjoyed some pips, doing some planting, making me feel like I've been at least partially been partially successful during this episode. And I mean, in terms of cooling the volcano down, that system is sort of working. Like I said, it's not a satisfactory solution because what I'd really like is for the temperature of that copper to be diminished a little bit more quickly. Again, you're seeing the hydrogen pick up about 80 degrees. That's not going to boil anything. We're not getting a big enough temperature pull off of that copper for whatever reason. So I've got to rethink how I'm planning on doing this. And maybe if I had diamond shift plates, it'd work better. I don't know. But yeah, slowly but surely, these little pips will make it right. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. We did plug away at this volcano situation. I do not think the solution is adequate enough for me to extend it to all 3 volcanoes. So I'm not sure about that particular piece. But I am going to rethink how I can use this to maybe pivot and turn this into a win for myself. So, I already have the chamber here. It's already got some water in it. I may wind up turning this into an aqua tuner setup and then use that aqua tuners to cool down some maybe I'll continue to try and use the air cooling possibility, but I'll actually use like an air conditioner to cool down the volcano versus using the water to cool it, and maybe that would be a better strategy. So I'm going to pivot and recycle this system and then do something where I can use it to cool down these volcanoes. Uh, we'll try our best. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video and hope you have a great day and we will be seeing you.